Thank you, HMP sir, for inviting me to share my understanding of farm bills, which is no more a bill, it is an act now, because once the bills are signed by the president, it becomes an act. We need to understand the agri value chain. There is a producer and there is a consumer who needs what is produced by the producer. Now, in this producer and consumer, there is always a fight to, producer wants to get the maximum price of his produce, and consumer wants to give the best price and get the best quality. Best, rather, I would say, consumer wants the best quality at cheapest price. That is true with any commodity or any item. So there is always a fight between producer and consumer, which is settled in a marketplace. And here the markets are provided by two laws. The first is the Essential Commodity Act. Second is the APMC, which is Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee Act. Now, Essential Commodity Act is a central law. APMC is a state law. Both are different, but both are going side by side. Now, once any commodity or any item is included in the Essential Commodity Act, the production, distribution, prices, warehousing, hoarding, everything is controlled by government. So that's the law. APMC largely provides the market. As I said, producer wants the maximum price and consumer wants the best quality at cheapest price. So this market where producer and consumer can come and trade off is provided by APMC. So APMC establishes mandis at the block level, and currently out of 700 plus districts in country, you have got 7,000 plus mandis in the country, which are all governed by APMC Act. And farmers come here and they have to come here and they have to contact the commission agents in the mandi and offer their produce. They will test the quality, they will get the buyers and facilitate the deal, and accordingly the payment would be done. So that's the process. Now the ECA, Essential Commodity Act, is a very stringent law. It's such a stringent law that if you are found to be violating ECA, it's a non-bailable warrant is issued. That's the penalty. Because I've been in the fertilizer for more than 3 decades, and I know it better than anybody else. Fertilizer is an essential commodity, and if you are on the wrong side of fertilizer business, your managing director will be put behind the bars without any bail. So that's the kind of stringent act which has. Now ECA, you need to understand a bit because ECA was brought in to protect the consumer's interest. Because just to check the black marketing, hoarding, and adulteration, ECA was brought in, which prevented anybody buying the commodity in bulk and storing it for long period. That was not allowed under the ECA. As a result, the producers suffered, and no private player invested because of the ECA. Now, the amendments which have happened are 3. One is that ECA has been amended, and amendment is basically one particular item, that is all the food stuff. That means the cereals, pulses, oil seeds, onion, potatoes, they all have been deregulated. That means they are no more ECA items. So they are out of ECA. Therefore, no restriction on production, no restriction on distribution, no restriction on hoarding, no restriction on anything. So now it is a free market. So that's the first amendment. The second amendment which has happened is about it is called Farm Produce Trade and Commerce Act 2020. In simple terms, it is an act which provides a one nation, one market. That means whole of India, because of APMC, was divided into state markets, because APMC was specific to state. So if there are 29 states, there are 29 markets, and you can't go from one market to another market. There are laws preventing that. Now with this new act, one nation, one market, you are free. You can produce in Uttar Pradesh and go and sell in Kerala, or vice versa. So that's the liberty which is provided in this act of one nation, one market. Third amendment which has happened, rather not amendment, third is a new act which is basically contract farming. So contract farming has been in discussion for past 20 years, and I have been one person who have been engaged in contract farming for almost a decade. We were doing basmati rice contract production, and under the APMC, and I mean some other time we can explain the details what the pains one has to go through in the contract farming. But fact is that contract farming never succeeded in India to the extent it should have, and therefore farmers have not benefited out of it. Now this is become an act. So contract farming is a new act which has been. So these are the three acts which are called Farms Act or Farm Bill, which was earlier before the president signed. Now, as I said, the food stuff, which is cereal, pulses, potato, onion, oil seeds, and edible oil. If you look at the availability of cereals, we are producing almost 30% more than what we require. Pulses, we were deficient in the 2014-15, but now we are surplus in pulses production. Potato, far surplus. Onion, Oil seeds is something where we are deficient. Oil seed is 1/3 we produce, 2/3 we import. That's the only commodity where we are deficient, which is short supply and import dependent. So now, as you understand, the demand is less, supply is more. In any market where demand is less, supply is more, prices will always be subdued. Because of this, the MSP, the minimum support price program of the government, becomes a lifeline for many people. So, and ideally it should be a lifeline for all the farmers, but the reality is that the benefit of minimum support price is availed by only 6% of the total farming community, which is about 80,000 people in the country. We have 13.8 crore farmers who own land in their name. So out of 13.8 crore, only 6% get benefit of MSP. Now, if 80,000 people who are benefiting from MSP, which is actually giving them better return on their produce, because the government is buying for its public distribution system requirement, and government is purchasing for central pool, that is storing the extra production for use during the time when there is a drought situation or extraordinary situation. So only 6% farmers are benefited. So largely you will see that paddy and wheat, these are the two commodities which are bought by the government of India under MSP. Now, of course, for public distribution system, states are also encouraged to buy pulses and buy only to the extent of PDS requirement. So largely the benefit has been around Punjab, Haryana, and Western UP. So because that's where the maximum production was coming, per unit area productivity was high. So the government, started procuring in these areas, and slowly it has become established practice that MSP purchases will happen in these states, and other states have also started indulging in, but largely today more than 80-85% purchases happen in these three states, Punjab, Haryana, and Western UP. Now, to understand what has happened and how it is going to be impacting the agriculture, in any market, a free market situation is the most ideal situation. And what I mean by free market is that where producer is having complete freedom to produce best quality product and demand best price, maximum price. Now at the same place, a consumer wanting the best quality product at the cheapest price. So this is the called a free market scenario. Now in the free market scenario, uh, you know, you get equal opportunity, both producer and consumer, to interact. Now these amendments which are brought here, which was brought in the case of milk way back 30 years ago, uh, they basically going to provide that. Now if we try and look at what is happening, how the impacts are going around, how the understanding is going around, is that the apprehension of large number of people, including farmers, and more so the middleman and the politician, is that because now there is a new market. New market means one nation, one market, which is in addition to APMC, because APMC stays where it is. There is no change in APMC. So mandis will remain, but mandis, there are taxes charged, and when you buy direct from the farmer, there are no taxes. So obviously the apprehension is that once this act is implemented, the mandis will shut down because nobody is going to pay tax and come to APMC to sell the produce, and APMCs will shut down, mandis will close. So a lot of people who are dependent on mandis, whether it is employees of the mandi or it is associated people with the mandi or the commission agents, pakka adatiya and kacha adatiyas, they will all be losing their financial security. Uh, Now the second is that once APMC is, if it is closes, then the MSP purchases, the minimum support price purchases, will vanish. That's a apprehension of the people, and people are trying to spread that for various reasons. They have their own agenda into it. Uh, Now third is that the private investors will come, because now is the opportunity, it is open, and their free market situation is being provided. Therefore private investors like big houses, Ambanis, Tatas, and Adanis will enter into this field. They will do the hoarding and take advantage, control the market, and fleece the producer. That's the apprehension. That is what is being taught. But question you need to ask is that whether it has happened in the case of milk, has it happened in the case of fisheries? Has it happened in the case of goateries or in the poultry? So you need to find your own answer. I don't need to give any opinion of myself here. The reality is that against these apprehensions, the reality is that these amendments will provide a platform for free market situation where efficient producer will benefit and efficient consumer will benefit. Now when I say efficient producer, means all those producers who actually do agriculture with lot of technology, use of technology, and they has the skill to produce quality product output. So if they have quality produce, they should get maximum price, which consumer will recognize and pay for it. I mean, today you find that milk is selling for 100 rupees a liter because there is a quality. So there are people who are buying it. So similarly, if there are quality produce brought by the producer, consumer is ready to recognize the quality and pay for it. So that means efficient producer and efficient consumer both will benefit out of these amendments. And obviously the inefficient one, those who have been dependent on MSPs, will have problem. There is no doubt about it. Ultimately, these amendments will promote a free market, will always promote meritocracy, and that's what I was saying: efficient producer and efficient consumer. So it will promote meritocracy, which is good for society, because everybody gets equal opportunity to grow, use his talent, his or her talent, and use his or her skills to take advantage of the market, which is a free market situation, which is demand and supply determining the prices instead of an act determining the prices. Productivity and the quality will improve definitely, and as I said, in the case of milk and in the case of poultry also, today you have best of the quality meat and everything available in India. The 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 middleman and all those people who were part of the agri value chain with very insignificant role, they will have a problem. So they will have a problem. They will actually will be forced to exit when the if market starts operating efficiently. So that's the understanding. That's the my understanding of these acts. So I would say that at the end that controls are good. I would say that ECA was brought in 1955. APMC was brought subsequently. This has done good. These were very meaningful acts because that point of time we were net deficient in everything. So we needed these acts to manage, to govern the society and provide them sufficient opportunity to live a normal life. Now, sufficient time has passed by. More than 65 years have gone by. Now is the time when you need to think of reforms, and because we also have graduated, we also have learned, we are no more food deficient nation, we are now food sufficient, rather food surplus nation, and therefore we need reforms to grow further, to progress further, and it will benefit all the producers. There is no doubt about it, because free market situation provides equal opportunity to all. As you've seen that MSP benefits only 6% of the farmers. Here in the free market situation, it should not be construed that all the small farmers will benefit. No, the small farmers and large farmers will have level playing field. Today, the big farmers, because of MSP, gets a huge advantage over rest of the farmers, which is actually a very, very, I would say it's a very, very discriminatory kind of a approach. In fact, in one of my interaction with a very senior economist, when I asked that how can you have a minimum support price of paddy for whole of India, whereas degree of difficulty in growing paddy in Punjab versus growing paddy in Bundelkhand, they are very, very different, and you offer one price just because you can't identify the difficulties and compensate the farmers in Bundelkhand. For our convenience, we are offering one MSP, which is not correct, which is discriminatory. So farmers must get compensation according to the efforts and investment they make. So that is what these amendments will bring, because there will be new contracts, there will be more of food processing, more FPOs will come, the farm producer organizations will come up, the small farmers will join hands. I mean, all those things which has happened in the case of milk sector is likely to happen in all these areas, because there is enough evidence available. So thank you very much for your for this opportunity and listening to me. Thank you so much.